Yeah, make sure you turn on the projector for Mr. Swords. He decides to sit. I want you to sit back there at the wall, Mr. Swords. I think you ought to sit back there toward the wall. Oh.
It was different when there were more people in here. I felt like when I got closer, I was blocking their view.
I know. Let's turn the whiteboard on. And that's y is equal to 10 to the negative x sine of x. And you could take the log of both sides. You could use the product rule. What?
Product rules.
Yeah, I would use the product rule because that way you don't have to multiply at the end by y. So y prime is equal to first, and I'm going to write the derivative in blue. I'm not going to do it yet. Times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So if you wanted to, you could actually, take the 10 to the negative x, and you could actually, do the natural log with that. The rule with the natural log, the exponential, is that you rewrite it as a natural log, 10 to the negative x. And let's do this in green. What's the derivative of the sine? Cosine of x. Plus the sine of x. And here's where your natural log comes in. And we did a couple of these in class. Remember me telling you to make sure you wrote them down? Well, 10 to the negative x, what is that? That's going to be natural log, or 10 to the negative x times the natural log of what? 10. Now just simplify it a little bit. Negative x, I think the only thing you can do is maybe put the natural log. You could factor out a 10 to the negative x, but that's about it. What else could you do? Somebody tell me what else you could do.
Could you put the negative exponent underneath?
Use the quotient rule. Y is equal to the sine of x over what? 10 to the x. Denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times denominator prime. All over denominator squared. So I'm going to go ahead and take my green marker. The derivative of the sine is the what? cosine, and the derivative of 10 to the x is 10 to the x times the natural log of 10. Oops. Now I'm doing this for a reason. Because kind of like the exponential laws that you did back in algebra, what do you know about the exponential laws? Well, the exponential laws, no matter what order you do them in, they all come out with the what? Same answer. Same thing with these laws. The derivative laws, you can do different ways and you still get the same answer. Okay? Factor out a 10 to the x, and you're going to get 10 to the x, and the 10 to the x is going to cancel, and that's going to leave 10 to the x, bring that back up, and you're left with 10 to the negative x times the cosine of x plus the sine of 10 to the x, or natural log of 10. So factor out a 10 to the x, that leaves you with cosine of x minus sine natural log of 10 over 10 to the 2x, and that right there will cancel that guy out, bring this guy back up, and that's 10 to the negative x. And that's equal to that. What else can you do? Natural log of y is equal to the natural log, natural log of 10 to the negative x times sine of x. Natural log of y is equal to negative x, natural log of 10, times natural log of the sine of what? Or plus, sorry, sine of x. Now this one might be the most complicated because not only do you have to do you got to do the what? Product rule right here. So I'm just going to put y prime right here, and I'm just going to remember to multiply by y, multiply by the original whenever we get through. First, times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first plus cosine, derivative of the sine is the cosine of x over what? And that's really not going to help too much. You're going to get a common denominator, and that's how you're going to finish that out. But you're not really going to be able to do anything because that goes out. And you're left with this, natural log of 10, there it is, and then plus cosine, or minus natural log of 10. I would say this is not the way you want to do it because that's going to cause a problem. And then you got to multiply by this. So whatever you get right here, I'll just bring it over here. That's going to be negative natural log of 10 plus cosine over sine. And you don't want to do anything because you still got this over here. 10 to the x, 10 to the negative x times the sine of x. And I'm just going to circle that because you're going to end up getting, you got to multiply that out, and you start to see negative sine, natural log of 10. Everybody see that? What do you got right here? If you distribute that sine right there, what are you going to get right here? Negative natural log of 10 times the sine of what? X. See there? Okay, I'll just do it. Let's see. 10 negative x sine of x natural log, and that's going to be a negative, natural log of 10. What happens to the sine of x's here? They cancel. And you're going to be left with 10 to the negative x cosine of x. factor out that 10 to the negative x, and you're going to get 10 to the negative x, parentheses, sine of x, natural log of 10, that'd be a minus, right? Minus, hold on a second. Yeah, that'd be a minus, and this would be a plus cosine of x. Is that what we got? Y'all check me and make sure that's the same answer. Now let me ask you a question. Would it behoove you to do all three methods when you're doing homework?
No.
Yes or no?
Probably, yeah.
It would be very nice for you to do that. Unless you're a water walker, and if you're a water walker, then you don't have to do anything. You invented this stuff. Right, Mr. Swords?
That's right. That's not me. That's for sure.
3. All right, let's see what they got. Cosine of x minus sine x. Y'all check, make sure. Does it look like mine? They brought the 10 to the negative x. They left it down. So I think I've got the right answer. And you feel good about yourself. So that's 3 problems you can do with just one problem. Next. Number 18. And that's a test question, but let me ask you something. When you look at this one, what do you say to yourself? I might as well just what?
Give up.
Why? Why do you say that?
Decimal.
Because you got all kinds of weird stuff in there. Okay? It's not that big a deal. First thing you do is you try to figure out, you rewrite it. First thing, you go, okay, g of x or f of x, I don't care. F of x is equal to x to the 8th times 8.1 to the x power. Now, what did I do there? Well, I got rid of the parentheses because in this case, the parentheses may cause more problems. All right? Now, the 2 things that you need to focus on are these 2 things right here. And I'm going to take my green highlighter. Focus on the multiplication symbol and what else? The x power. When you see that x power, you know you're going to rewrite that as a natural log. That's a flag. Okay? So, I'm going to rewrite this. Well, not rewrite it. I'm going to do the product rule, because that means product rule. Now, we could take the log of both sides. We'll do that also. So, f prime of x is equal to, first, times the derivative of the second, we'll do that in blue, 8.1 to the x power, plus the second, times the derivative of the first. Now I want y'all to do it. Take those blue ones and take the derivative. Now one of them you should be able to do in your sleep because you've been doing it for 10 sections. The other one you have to write as a natural log. I have faith in y'all. Miss Gusmus made it. Glad you can make it, Miss Gusmus. She's not the only one that's hung over, Miss Rudiger. Miss Castles, did she ever... She said something about an AA meeting. So I don't know if she's gonna be late or what. All right, somebody tell me what the 8.1 to the x comes out to be. Well, it's like e to the x. That's going to be first. 8.1 to the x times what? Rational exponent, you're going to rewrite it as the function itself times the natural log of what?
8.1.
I don't know how to do mumble.
8.1.
Just underline it twice for those that are paying attention. And what is the derivative of x to the 8?
Really?
Well, y'all need to articulate. Can't hear y'all when y'all do.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, 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 wah. All right, now. That's pretty much it. Except you can factor out an x to the 7th and an 8.1 x to the x if you wanted to. And that's going to give you f prime of x is equal to x to the 7th times 8.1 to the x. Natural log, well, x to x times the natural log of 8.1 plus 1. Now take the natural log of both sides.
Wouldn't it be plus 8 instead of plus 1?
It probably is. I probably made a mistake. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Okay, now do the natural log of both sides. Natural log of y is equal to the natural log of x to the 8th times 8.1 x. And that's going to give you 1 over y times y prime is equal to natural log of x. Well, no, I don't want to take the derivative yet. Sorry, I ain't finished rewriting. Natural log of y is equal to the natural log of x to the 8th plus the natural log of 8.1x. Natural log of y is equal to 8 natural log of x plus natural log of 8.1 to the x. There you go. Now I want you to do that one.
Gmail.
So that's going to be 1 over y times y prime is equal to 8 times 1 over x plus what is the derivative of 8.1 to the x power?
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Over and that's going to be 1 over y times y prime is equal to 8 over x plus what happens to the natural log of 8.1. Okay, no, they don't go out. I thought it was going to cancel. Sorry. It doesn't because it just doesn't. Plus 8.1x natural log of 8.1 over natural log of 8.1x. Now, when you multiply by y, which is that, and I'm going to go over here, I'm going to multiply by y, I'm going to get y prime is equal to x to the 8th, 8.1 to the x, multiplied by 8 over x, plus 8.1 to the x power, natural log of 8.1, over natural log of 8.1 to the x power. And you'll start seeing that, well, I don't know if it's going to, okay, there's our x, what's x to over 8 over x? X to the 7th. And then the 8.1 to the x, that's right there. It's still got an 8 there, but we'll see.
When you took the derivative of the natural log of 8.1 to the x, why'd you bring the natural log to the bottom? Isn't it just u prime over u?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, that's what was there. Now it's going to cancel. Okay, y'all see the x's are going to cancel. The x and the x to the 8th is going to cancel. And then you see the 8.1 is going to cancel. So I'm going to let y'all work that out, but it's going to, well, let's see, x to the 7th, that'll be x to the 7th, x to the 7th, that's going to cancel, and that's going to leave 8x to the 7th, 8.1 to the x power, make sure I didn't make a mistake there, plus, and that 8.1 to the x is going to cancel. So I'm just going to draw a little line right through there. And right, see, it goes crazy when I do that. And that's basically going to leave x to the 8th times 8.1x natural log of 8.1. And I think you're going to see that you're going to factor something out and you're going to get this right here. So that's going to be x to the 8th times 8 point, I'm sorry, I'm trying to see what's going to cancel. That's going to cancel with that. And that's going to leave 8.1 to the x, natural log of 8.1. Y'all check me. And I think the x to the 7th is going to come out, and 8.1 to the x is going to come out, and there's going to leave your 8. I saw an 8 a while ago. It's going to work out. But as you can see, sometimes the natural log of both sides can sometimes be what? More what? More work. Okay, I think we did it how many times? Twice? We did it 2 times on that one? Okay, and I didn't do the natural log. I did it this way. I just threw the natural log in there just so you can get extra practice. And as you can see, 10% is calculus. The rest is what? Algebra. Next. Same type, but on this one, you can save yourself a whole lot of trouble. Okay? This one is not long at all. This one just has a constant. So this is what I would suggest you do. A is equal to 540. There's your constant. Brackets 1.1616 to the t power. And what are you going to take the derivative of? What's in the brackets? You don't need to worry about this 540. So A prime is equal to 540 times the derivative of 1.616 to the t power. And that comes out to 1.616 to the t power times the natural log of 1.616. That's it. So A prime is equal to 540 times that. And that's it. That's all you can do, really. So that's a pretty simple problem. Now, of course, could you take the natural log of 1.616 and multiply that by 540? Yes or no? Yes, because the natural log of a number is a number. So if you wanted to, somebody take the natural log of 1.616 for me. And I want you to make a note, because you need to, make the mental note of this. What is the natural log of 1.616?
0.4799.
Okay, multiply that by 540. What do you get?
259.175.
259.175 times 1.616t. And now, what is 1.616 times 259.175?
418.827.
827 t. So any of these could be your final answer. In fact, let's type in, it says exact, so I don't know. Let's see what happens if I type, probably mark it wrong. 418.827 raised to the t power, shift t, probably have a cow. Yep, it did. Yeah, see, it wants you to write it in terms of natural log. So let's see which one they want. Yep, they wanted the first one. 540 times 1.6 times natural log of 1.6. So that first one is the answer.
How did you raise it without clicking the button at the bottom?
Shift up arrow or shift 6.
Okay. Thanks.
That's a trick of learning the war. Next. All these are good test questions. And they're great homework questions because you can do them 2 or 3 ways, and that's just extra practice. This is number, I didn't see which number this was. Number 21. Much confusion. I like that. Much confusion. First thing I would do is rewrite it. And then I would rewrite it as a natural log. I did this problem, but I can't even find it. I think that's it right there, yeah. I took the natural log of both sides. Now technically you could do x to the square root of x times the natural log of x. You could do that. But then you would have to do 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. Yeah, because you've got something. Yeah, I would just do the natural log. In this case, now, what's the clue that says you might want to do the natural log of both sides? They write it in terms of a what? A function. When they start the problem with a function, they might want you to take the log of both sides. And you have an exponent. That's another clue. I'm going to rewrite mine as natural log of y, or you can use h of x if you want to, I don't care, is equal to x raised, natural log. Natural log of x to the square root of x. 1 over y prime, is equal to the square root of x times the natural log of x. One over y prime is equal to x to the 1/2 times the natural log of x. What rule? What rule? I mean for y'all to interact with me. Bump him. We're not going to talk to him anyway. Okay. What?
Product rule.
Product rule. Thank you very much, whoever said that. Who said that?
Miss Wilson.
Miss Wilson, I don't know what I'd do without you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're a winner, Miss Wilson. The rest of y'all winged on a pickle. No reaction whatsoever. I bet y'all are some exciting people when y'all go home, right?
About that exciting.
What'd you say?
I said about that exciting.
Yeah. Y'all all winged on a pickle. As somebody wrote down all the numbers, Ms. Castles just came in. Ms. Castles, we went over so far homework problems number what? I think this is our fourth one, isn't it? 17, 18, 19, and this is number what?
21.
21? We're on number 21 right now, Miss Castles.
Okay, I'll rewatch those on the video.
Okay? All right, so first, well, 1 over y times y prime is equal to first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So now let's take the derivatives. And that's going to be 1 over x. And this is going to be 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. So 1 over y times y prime is equal to x to the 1/2 plus the natural log of x. Now all it is algebra. I'm going to let y'all work that algebra a little bit. One over y prime is equal to x to the 1/2 over x to the 2/2 plus natural log of x over 1 times x to the negative 1/2 over 2. Now I know that's kind of baby steps, but some of y'all could break an anvil with a banana, so I just thought I would add those on there. So what is 1/2 minus 2/2? But it's going to be on the bottom, right? It's going to be on the bottom?
Yeah.
So be 1/2 on the bottom. If I take it downstairs, it'll be 1 over x to the 1/2, right? So 1 over y times y prime is equal to 1 over x to the 1/2 plus, well, look at there. Natural log of x, that's going to come downstairs, and that's going to be natural log of x over 2x to the what? 1/2. So I'm going to change this to 2. Let me take my handy dandy magenta and we're getting a common what? Denominator, and that's going to make this a 2 and this a 2. So now we've got everything over 1, so I can rewrite it as 1 over y times y prime is equal to, well, that's going to be 2 plus the natural log of x over x, or 2x to the 1/2 power. If you want to put this in a radical, or 2 plus the natural log of x over 2 times the square root of x. But we still got to multiply by what? We still got to multiply by y. Take our handy dandy burnt orange. So we're going to multiply by y on this side. We've got to multiply by y on this side. And what is y? Y is x to the square root of x. So x to the square root of x. So y prime, leaving all the steps in, is equal to x square root of x times 2 plus the natural log of x over 2 times the square root of x. Now plug in whatever they give you to plug in. And they want a decimal, so make sure you, I think they want a decimal, I don't know. I'm going to punch in 3 so I can see if I got the answer right. All right, somebody tell me, they got square root of x to the x to the square root of x, 2 plus the natural log of x. Look at there, it's a miracle. Now, somebody plug in 9. Well, that's going to be 9. Take my handy dandy magenta, and that's going to be 9 square root of 9 brackets 2 plus the natural log of 9 over 2 square root of 9. 9 to the third power, 2 plus natural log of 9 over 2 times 3 is what? 6?
Yeah.
Well, 9 times 9 is 81. Dang old 729. Y'all check me. Somebody take, let's see, I can do it in my head. That'd be 1, 5, 29 will be 4.
It is 729.
Okay, 729 divided by 6.
121.5.
I don't even know what I'm doing. 121.5, 2 plus the natural log of 9. I'm going to leave it that because I remember seeing a decimal, but I don't think they carried it all the way out. But of course, that would give you your y. No, I'm sorry, your slope. So, and I'm just going to plug in 3. We are cooking with peanut OIL. 121.5, 2 plus the natural log of 9. And we feel good about ourselves, don't we? Have y'all seen the guy? I got to show y'all this. I know I'm wasting time. Y'all can bitch about it later.
Just call your boss.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody does. I was going to show y'all something funny. If I can find it. Have y'all seen the guy that I can't find it. He gets mad in the restaurant and he's real short.
Yes.
Yeah, have y'all seen that? Well, he has some self-esteem issues.
He thinks everybody's calling him short and making fun of him, but
Yeah, what I can't find it. What was it titled? Do you know?
oh, I don't remember.
Well, look it up while I'm
it.
teaching. You
All
look
right.
it up, and we'll look at it afterwards.
Probably go on YouTube, type in keyboard.
I know, but it'd be easier if somebody could find it for me. Y'all know, Mr. Swords, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all can find it.
Yes.
Okay. Delete. Okay, I want to get these last two because these are the last two that you have to really work on. Okay, this is real easy, but you got to remember your logarithmic rules. Who is that?
You have to change the base formula without one.
Change base, and you got to use the natural log.
Yeah.
He had a problem with women. The women were messing with him. Oh man, that's even worse. Oops. I lost my screen. Hold on, guys. There we go. All right, so now you don't have to write it with the natural log. Okay, I'm going to do it both ways. The change base formula says if you got something to a different base, you can rewrite it using log base 10 or log base e. It doesn't matter which is the natural log. So I can rewrite this. Y is equal to 1 over log of x over log of 6. Or I can rewrite it as 1 over the natural log of x over the natural log of 6. This is the one, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. Remember me telling you a long time ago that when you're in diffie-q, you're going to be using natural log predominantly over log? You remember me telling you that? Always go with the natural log when you're in calculus, okay? That's just because of that diffie-q, the natural log of, when you take the derivative of natural log of e to the e power, you use that a lot in diffie-q, so they use the natural log a good bit. All right, so if I divide 1 by this, I'm basically multiplying by the reciprocal, right? Okay, so that's going to be natural log of 6 over the natural log of x. So y is equal to that. Now, you just use what law? What property? Y'all supposed to tell me. I'm not supposed to ask you again. You're supposed to tell me what property. Starts with a Q. Quotient rule, the only one that starts with a Q. Yes, thank you. So do it. I think that's the way I did it. I don't even know where it is. Yeah. So what is the quotient rule? Quotient rule is denominator times the numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over the denominator what? Squared. And what is the derivative of the natural log of 6?
Sixth?
What?
Is it 1/6?
What's the derivative of the natural log of 6?
Zero.
Thank you. Why is that? Did y'all see that? I just wrote left-handed. Wow. That's a challenge for me. Now, what is 0 times anything?
0.
You remember me telling y'all that sometimes pi and e to a number and the natural log of 6 can be a trick question? What did Mr. Swords do? I think it was Mr. Swords. He did 1 over 6. What is the natural log of 6? When you punch that in your calculator, what do you get? You get a number. You get a constant. What's the derivative of any constant? 0. That's a trick. Teachers love to put those in these type problems. E to a number, e to the 4th. Pi, natural log of 4. These are numbers. The derivative of a number is a what? Is 0. Remember that. Teachers love to put those in these problems. Okay? So we've got negative natural log of 6 over the natural log squared. So that's going to give us negative natural log of 6 over x divided by the natural log of x quantity squared. I don't know if that's what they want, but that's close enough for government work. We're going to time this just right because the last problem's coming up. Let me go ahead and check this answer. Final. Okay, they multiplied by the reciprocal and got it. That's not a big deal. They multiplied. This is over 1. And what do you do when you divide by a fraction? You multiply by the what? 1 over natural log x squared. That gives us that. These are good test questions. I like them because they've got everything in them. You got the power rule, you got the product rule, you got the quotient rule, you've got the natural log, you've got the, these are good problems. I don't know why they don't put explanations with them. That's kind of, Next, now this one is the one that'll get you on the algebra, this last one. And it is number 37. I'm going to let y'all write it down. I'll write it big where you can see it. dx, find the derivative of 1 plus 7 over x to the x power. Now in this case, you've got an x derivative, you got a rational. I would probably take the log of both sides. Well, Hubert, why can't we do the exponential? Well, you can, but you got a lot of junk up there inside those parentheses. I would probably do the natural log of both sides. This problem is pretty much 95 to 99% algebra. And those 3 steps are all algebra. The only other thing is I would change that 7 over x to a 7x to the negative 1. And I'm going to do that in the next step. No coughing in class. I hear you. Natural log of y is equal to x. Natural log of 1 plus 7x to the negative 1. And now you have what you want to take the derivative of. Natural log of y is equal to x times natural log of 1 plus 7x to the negative 1. Okay, give y'all a minute or two. We only got 8 minutes, so I'm going to give y'all 3 minutes. Did y'all find that? Short guy. Okay. Thank you. We'll have to pull it up on email. I'll have to mute it though, but he's having a bad day.
You can search for short guy rants at bagel shop. But then you get all of them where people are doing commentary on it and stuff too.
How old is it?
Not sure. So he's in his 40s?
No, how old is the video?
Oh, I don't know. I just
Usually
saw it myself this weekend.
Usually it says how many days it's been up. That's why I was asking.
Oh. The girl that took the video did it July 10th.
Oh, so it is fairly new.
Yeah. She said she was in the Bagel Boss this morning, and yeah, well, she puts all kind of other stuff.
First times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. I think I'm going to get some posters. Getting tired of switching colors. That's going to be negative 7x to the negative 2, right? Right? Yes, Hubert. No, Hubert.
Hubert?
Yes.
That step right there where you go from ln y to 1 over y, it's y derivative.
Yes.
The between those two steps, I'm always confused when you add the plus, like the second part of that. Where does that come from?
What second part?
When you do that line that says x natural log of 1 plus 7x minus to the negative 1.
Okay, this right here is the product rule. This right here is the product rule. Because of this right here. That's,
Okay.
somebody tell me what section is that? 3.2 or 3.3, 3.4? That's the product rule. First times the derivative of the second. First times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. You remember it now?
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
That's okay. All right, now let's condense. And I'm just going to condense because that's all the calculus in the problem. Those two lines right there, that's it. So 1 over y times y prime is equal to, that's x to the first, so we're going to add 1 right here. And that's going to be negative 7x. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1 over 1 plus 7x to the negative 1 plus the natural log of 1 plus 7x to the negative 1. Now this is where you got to reach down and get some complex rational expressions. Okay? 1 over y times y prime is equal to negative 7 over x over 1 plus 7 over x plus natural log of 1 plus 7 over x. Now, get a common denominator, and I'm gonna put this in, I really don't like red, but that right there, get a common denominator of all three terms, which is going to be what? X. Now I'm going to make this little because I need to show you this, because this is probably why a lot of you, had this question because of the algebra. Please. You devil. Okay. One of these days, it's going to get training. It's going to be dangerous.
Oh, Lord, he coming.
Huh? What'd she say? Negative 7 over x over 1 over 1 plus 7 over x. What is the common denominator of x, 1, and x? 1 over x, Hubert. That's right. This is back in Algebra 2, remember? So, got a negative 7 over x, or x over 1, I'm sorry. X over 1. I don't know what I'm doing. X over 1 over x over 1. What's x over 1 over x over 1? 1. So x over 1 over x over 1. And of course you're going to add that to the natural log of 1 plus 7 over x. So what's x over x? Negative 7. What's x over 1? What's x over x?
It's at your Discord.
Plus the natural log of 1 plus 7 over x. Y prime? Somebody tell me what y is. Y is equal to what? 1 plus 7. So I'm going to put brackets right here. And I'm going to put out here 1 plus 7 over x to the x power. That's the problem right there, this 95% algebra. Now you see why people suck at calculus.
Yeah.
These are some of the hardest problems that you're going to do with derivatives. And if you suck at algebra, you're going to be feeling it. So chances are you probably just need to quit. Check. That's a joke. Y'all made it this far. You can make it further. Let's see what their answer is. Natural log of 1 plus 7 over x. Natural log of 1 plus 7 over x. And there's where people get it wrong right there. Negative 7 over x plus 7. There it is. So you need to highlight this little piece right here, and you need to say, when I have three denominators, x, 1, and x, I need to get a common denominator. And I remember that section in intermediate algebra. It's like the second to the last section before you go into solving systems of equations. You've had that before in Algebra 2 or Intermediate Algebra. You've had it. And that's your question. That's it. That's all your homework questions today. So, in closing, I will pull up the handy-dandy test and homework, and I will fix it to where y'all can have one more day of questions. And, not go into hysterics. Because I think some of y'all are fixing to go into hysterics. We got 3 minutes for those of you fixing to go into it. We'll be all right. Okay, where are y'all? Down here, 120, 140. Assignments. And let's go down here and change. I should just back it up to 5 o'clock today is what I should do.
The hell did you?
There's the trig. Let's see, which one is it? 3 logs and inverse trig test. Oh, that's homework. Okay, there they are. So we'll change this to the 16th, which is tomorrow, right? Change this to the 16th.
Yes, sir.
And change this to the 16th. But I want y'all to make sure y'all get through tonight, send questions, because if I don't get questions tomorrow, I'm going into antiderivatives, which you've got to get into ASAP, because I want to spend a lot of time in there. And that is, yeah. All right. See y'all tomorrow. I know who's here. Oh, we got to look at the, what's it called?
The angry bagel.
Yeah, let me turn this off so nobody